I think we can officially call it spring. The weather has changed. It is absolutely gorgeous outside, and many of us are spending way more time outside in nature or gardening. So today I wanted to share with you 6 books that will get you in the mood to go outside or garden. The first one is Seed Folks by Paul Fleischman. This is a children's book, but I wanted to mention it because one, it is very quick. It has such a great story. And I think whether you're, if you have children, if you're a teacher, or if you're just an adult who has a little bit of whimsy in them, I would recommend reading this. I'm going to read the first little page. It's from a paragraph within the book, but I think it will give you a nice feel of the story. I'm going to read this with this on. No place for a garden. An icy wind teetered trash cans and turned my cheeks to marble. In Vietnam, we had no weather like that. Here in Cleveland, people call it spring. I walked half a block, then crossed the street and reached the vacant lot. I stood tall and scouted. I'd never entered the lot before or wanted to. I did so now, picking my way between tires and trash bags. I nearly stepped on 2 rats gnawing and froze. Then I told myself that I must show my bravery. I continued farther and chose a spot far from the sidewalk and hidden from view by a rusty refrigerator. I had to keep my project safe. So this is about a girl who wants to start a little garden in this vacant lot. And it is told through different neighbors' eyes. And I just thought it was really great because it touches on some of our prejudices and how we tend to create stories in our mind about certain situations, and how many times those stories are not accurate, and what happens when a community comes together. I thought it was a great story. I think there's huge learning opportunities for young ones. And I think in a time when the world feels upside down, sometimes it's nice to come back to books, especially simple little books that help you see how much humanity is important, and how community can help us feel more of this positive experience in life. The second book is The Garden Spells by Sarah Addison Allen. She is great writer of nature-y type books. She is very much one of these who is very big into magical realism. And this is about the Waverly sisters. So I believe there are a couple of different books that kind of follow the Waverly sisters. So one of the sisters, Claire Waverly, she tends to bake and cook with a lot of these magical plants, and they tend to do different things. So like some of the flowers aid in keeping secrets. The snapdragons were intended to discourage the attentions of neighbors. If you like magical realism, this one touches a lot on nature, and the bonds of sisters, the sisterly bonds. Okay, so it's another one. It's another children's book. I promise they're not all, this is the last one, but this is Wish Tree by Catherine Applegate. And this is another one of those books that I just think everyone should read, especially in times like right now where certain things just kind of feel hopeless, and reading children's books can bring back so much hope for us. This is told through the eyes of a tree. And similar to Seed Folks, when people have certain prejudices about other people, this is where a family moves into a community. And some people don't like that this family moved into the community. And the story is told through the tree's eyes and what the tree sees with the people in the community and how they treat one another and how they treat the tree. And it is so beautiful. It is such a heartwarming story. It'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry. And I just feel like sometimes when the world is going sideways, we need these sweet, soft books. And therefore, I think Wish Tree would be a really good one to pick up right now. The next one, this was a 5-star book for me. And this is The Scent Keeper by Erica Baumeister. I will say, it's been a while since I've read this, but I will say if a book can take me to a place and becomes very descriptive in the place, I usually am all in on that, much more than the plot or the characters. A lot of times, if the sense of place is very atmospheric and draws me in, I end up giving it a 5-star, which is one of those with this book that I did. So this is about a young girl. It's like a coming of age story. She is living on an island with her father, and her father has basically raised her to know all about nature through sense. So much so that he has a wall of mysterious scents in these small, fragile bottles. And he has this scent machine that kind of helps him collect these scents in his cabin. And he doesn't tell her about some of these scents, but she sees him opening them and smelling from them at different times over the years, and she becomes very curious about them. Well, something occurs that requires her to leave the island, and it is about that kind of like learning about her past and understanding what her father was doing. And it is just so good. And if you like a book with a great sense of place, I think you will enjoy it. And if you're like me, who also loves the sensory experience, this is that for you. Again, another coming of age story, Where the Crawdads Sings by Delia Owens. And this is another one of those sense of place books where it is going to drop you in the middle of this marshy land. So when I was a little girl, I grew up going to Charleston, South Carolina a lot. My mother was born and raised there. And we went up every summer. And as soon as you'd go across a certain bridge into town, you could smell the marshes and the pluff mud. If you're from the area, you know what I'm talking about. But that was such a feeling for me. And this book was that feeling exactly. This is about a young girl who grows up. She's not really going to school that much. She lives in this cabin right by the marshy lands, and she grows up in nature. She knows the land. She knows the shells. She knows the birds. She knows the bugs. She is very involved in this land. She tends to know what the land is telling her by different things that occur. And there is a mystery in this. I don't want to say too much about this. It was very popular a few years ago. Well-deserved. And I just think if you like a great sense of place, if you want to feel like you're in the Georgia marshes, then you definitely should read this book. I do know that there is, I believe it was a movie, right, that was made from this as well. Definitely read the book first. But it's a good movie as well. And the last one I wanted to share with you, I don't think anybody talks about this book, but I read this quite a few years ago and absolutely loved it. If you have ever thought about living in a French cottage where you could have a beautiful garden, then you must read this book. It is by Santa Montefiore. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'm sorry. She has been compared to Maeve Binchy and Rosamund Pilcher. And this is, like I mentioned, I don't remember too much about it, but I do remember that the feeling was this cottage, this family moves into this cottage, and the garden hasn't been kept up. And a Frenchman comes to bring the garden back to what it used to be. And it's a story about his life and the family's life. And it's beautiful. There's a lot of secrets that come to be found out about through the story. And it's just one of those books that, like I mentioned, if you've ever wanted to have a cottage, have a garden, you would probably enjoy it. So those are 6 books I'm recommending to you if you want to get out in nature and maybe the weather's not quite right, or you are looking for inspiration to go garden. These might be books that you would enjoy. And I'd recommend taking a blanket outside, laying it out on the ground, and picking up one of these books and reading it. If you have any spring books that you love and you think I'd enjoy, thinking of atmosphere, that deep sense of place, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you have.